Sugarcane production is big business in Costa Rica, with farmers here growing more than 4 million metric tons of sugarcane in 2022. That's according to the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service. In that same year, Costa Rica exported more than 78 million metric tons of sugar to the U.S. Meanwhile, its neighbor, Panama, sent more than $21 million worth of sugar into the United States. Welcome to Ingenio Cutris, a sugar mill in the Alajuela Province of Costa Rica, surrounded by nearly 150 acres of sugarcane. On the inaugural tractor tour of the fields and facilities surrounding the mill, members of LSU AgLeadership Class XVII get to see the wastewater management practices of the mill, where water from the mill is moved from one pond to another to remove sediment and allow useful bacteria to clean the water. Clean enough for it to be safe haven for wildlife like this caiman. Later on the tour, the class learns how the mill deals with byproducts of producing sugar: bagasse, ash from burned bagasse, and filter cake. At Cutris, those three byproducts are made into compost and aggressively mixed by a tractor. Cutris then uses that compost as the base when planting sugarcane. This is where members of the class involved in sugarcane production got to be hands-on with their Costa Rican experience. St. Landry Parish sugarcane farmer Dallas Ardouin poured the compost base. Classmate Romeo Stalling learns a new way of planting sugarcane, where single billets are placed across the row, spaced about 1.5 feet apart. Class members Randy Richard, a sugarcane researcher and crop consultant, and Matt Gravois, a sugarcane farmer from St. James Parish, demonstrate how they plant cane in Louisiana, with billets or whole stalks in the bottom of the row overlapping each other.
So the way that they're planting like that is completely different, as you know, that we do it at home. I think it's something that they're doing it on a trial basis to try to see how it's going to work, and they like the results so far, but I think they're just starting in their trial and testing on stuff like that.
You definitely have a better seed ratio if you can hand plant it that way, but the problem is you would have to have a very immaculate billet and not have any damage to that billet in order for that to work out.
It's not just the planting method that seems different to Richard, but the sugarcane fields themselves, most of which are hand harvested by migrant workers from neighboring Nicaragua.
Very small plots of sugarcane. It wasn't on a widespread acreage. It was very unique to see sugarcane growing on slopes of mountains. You can see why mechanization of harvesting a crop like that would be a challenge with the sheer slope of the land. Also, I saw lots of giant boulders in the soil that would impede the harvest.
Inside the mill, members of the class see firsthand the process of extracting the juice from sugarcane and then boiling it down to get the raw sugar crystals and molasses. Cutris is one of 5 mills in the country, and half of the cane that goes through here is grown by the mill. The other half is from nearby farmers. That said, it is a small mill when compared to those in Louisiana.
In our terms, a small mill, but I think in their terms, it's a normal size mill. But yeah, they're grinding about 2,200 tons a day, which is small for us.
It would take this mill here a week to grind without mill grinds in one day.
Costa Rica is a smaller but certainly efficient producer of sugar.
Evan Mangino is the agricultural counselor for the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service to Costa Rica and Nicaragua. He says Costa Rica's sugar industry could be more profitable than it is.
The sugar industry in Costa Rica, I think, has more potential than what it's allowed to really achieve. And that's predominantly because, like you mentioned, the cogeneration aspect of sugar revenue is very limited for them, because in Costa Rica, it is actually not permitted to sell electricity onto the grid, and the national electricity utility does not want to buy it. So the sugar millers here really are missing out on a huge chunk of their potential revenue.
Ingenio Cutris does produce electricity by burning bagasse and sells power to a neighboring city, but not to the national grid. It's something Ardouin finds interesting, but he has a deeper connection to this mill.
Some of the guys that work for this mill, they come on a contract through our mill, LSU in St. Martinville. They harvest cane here, that's what they do here, and then they come and they run our harvest crew at home. So it was really cool to see guys that are coming on our farm and that I've gotten to know pretty well, to see where they live and where they work and how they operate differently over here than we do at home.